Titus Lotee from Kacheliba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to contribute to the finance bill. Mr. Speaker, as a member of this respected House, and also a member of the society that has a mental capacity to think, I want to contribute as follows to this bill, Mr. Speaker. Far from it, Mr. Speaker, there is a lot of information that has gone to the public that this bill is supposed to be punitive to Kenyans. But having looked through it, Mr. Speaker, I realized that this bill is trying to address the inefficiency that has been there in our tax regime, Mr. Speaker. We've actually been collecting very little amount of revenue vis-a-vis the capacity that we have. And this bill is not as punitive as we are told. I've looked through this bill, Mr. Speaker, and I've realized that only 3 main taxes have been introduced, and the rest have actually been made efficient. The first one, Mr. Speaker, is the digital monetization of the digital content. And this is in regards to the principle of taxation, Mr. Speaker, where taxation is supposed to be as evolving as possible in regards to respond to the evolving nature of our society. When our tax regime was done, Mr. Speaker, there was very little in terms of digital content. And because Kenyans are embracing the digital content very quickly, our tax regime is also supposed to embrace. And so, introducing the 15% on the digital content, Mr. Speaker, is in regards to the evolvement of this. This is very nice, Mr. Speaker, because we've actually seen our revenue falling because a lot of advertisements, a lot of our contents are actually becoming digital. And so the mother of our taxation is also reducing because we cannot now net in the traditional taxes. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it is important that we actually also go along with the digital migration. The other tax that I've seen as new is the club entrance fee, Mr. Speaker. Initially, this club entrance fee was free, and it's only for the privileged, Mr. Speaker. The club members that are sitting here are paying hundreds of thousands to millions to clubs, and yet they are supposed to be exempted. There is no common man, there is no common person that actually benefits from this. I actually love the fact that we need supposed to introduce a tax to this club so that we net in these people that are actually in clubs, clubbing and using a lot of money and want to be exempted. The other one, Mr. Speaker, is the introduction of the 5% withholding tax on advertisement. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of diseases that are coming to this country because advertising has become so cheap that people are misleading Kenyans. We've actually seen people being conned. We've seen people buying products that are not necessary because there is no tax on advertising. Mr. Speaker, introducing a 5% withholding tax on this will actually safeguard Kenyans from the conmen that are actually advertising if they are allowed to advertise for free. Finally, if I go to the housing, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this country, we host the 3 main out of 10 slums in Africa. And until we actually agree to say we want to move out of the slums, we will continue premising and saying that we are not ready. We should be ready as now, Mr. Speaker. We want to move from being a country that is living in slums to a country that is supposed now to be a developed country. Mr. Speaker, if I look at the superhighway, the Thika superhighway, if I look at the SGR, I look at the Nairobi Expressway, everybody in this country, the people of Kacheliba contributed to it, Mr. Speaker, and yet they don't use it on everyday basis. So even this housing, we are all supposed to contribute to it, because at the end of it all, when Kenyans get houses, whether you get it or not, it is for the common good of this country. So, Mr. Speaker, I stand to support. Thank you.